Hello and welcome back to Chasing Excellence, a show about chasing what truly matters. My name is Patrick Cummings, here as always with Ben Bergeron. Thank you for joining us this time around. How you doing, Ben?
Doing great. Doing good. Excited.
My
Let's do it.
Fitbit just told me I need to stand up and walk. I'm going to have to wait just a little bit, though, because we've got a conversation today. We've got listener questions to answer. As often, we take questions from listeners about the 5 factors of health, those few fundamental behaviors that most positively affect our performance, vitality, and longevity. For those folks who may be new, welcome. Those 5 factors: how we eat, how we move or train, how we think, how we connect, and how we recover. This week, we've got 4 questions. We're going to be talking about getting out of fight or flight mode, the value of health across our lifespans, incentivizing coaches to sell more, and dealing with negativity, drama, and lies. I'm going to jump into that momentarily. First, quick reminder, chasingexcellence.email. Get on our free newsletter list. Get a bunch of good stuff in your inbox, including a link to a form where you can submit questions for future episodes. Also, we just announced the next couple Chase Club book clubs, which is Chase Club is our premium offer. You'll get ad-free episodes plus bonus content and book clubs, which we're going to keep exclusive to the Chase Club for the rest of the year. Links to those are in the show notes. Okay, 2 questions right off the bat. First one from Brendan. This is what he says. I, like many of us, can have challenging days. I run a busy financial planning firm. We've got 3 kids, et cetera, et cetera. I was finding that I was spending far too much time in the fight or flight mode. I have learned that the best thing I can do when it gets to that point is to focus on breath work and try to return to a parasympathetic state. Could you offer any tips, meditations, or breathwork strategies that you have found successful to help with this? I will currently find a quiet spot, breathe in for 4, hold for 4, then breathe out for 4 seconds. Some days it seems difficult to even get this cadence. Is there more to breath work? My main goal is to find an effective way to transition from fight or flight mode back to a point where I can safely interact with other humans. I like that. Safely interact with other human beings.
Yes, there is. And wow, how cool is that, Brendan, to understand that he's getting triggered and getting pulled into the sympathetic from the parasympathetic nervous system, fight or flight, epinephrine being released, cortisol, stress hormones, probably not going to be able to respond to situations with as much poise as he would otherwise. Good for him for realizing that breath work is bi-directional, meaning in a stress state, your breath becomes short, chest breathing, and in a relaxed state, it is belly breathing and deep through the diaphragm. What that means by bi-directional is if you are in a stress state and you start to breathe that way, it can pull you out of a stress state. The 4 on, the 4 in, 4 holds called box breathing, really popular. Most people are introduced through that, and a lot of breathwork practices use that as a warm-up to get into their practice. But, big asterisk, that's a hard thing to do when you're in the midst of it. When you're in a meeting and someone triggers you, it's to find the space to like rinse, wash, repeat. A much quicker, faster, simpler, and accessible way to do it, it's called the parasympathetic sigh. And it's essentially you take a deep breath in, and then you take another breath in. So this is kind of wild. So everyone can do this along with me, no matter where you are. You'll feel yourself relax almost immediately. Ideally, it's through nasal breathing and a slight constriction through the throat, which is called like your Darth Vader voice. It's like, Luke, I am your father. Right, but you do that like in, and so it's, so it's this deep breath in through your nose. Ideally, not just nose. It's through the constricted throat. As take in a lot of air quickly, and then take in even more. Let it all out. If you do that 3 times, and really let it out. It's exhale matters for a lot. You really feel yourself come down. So we can all do it together right now. So it's that breath in with the plus. It's Now that was loud and exaggerated so people could understand it, hear it, and follow along. You could do that in a much subtler way. I've used this a number of times. Even just doing it once helps quite a bit. We do it really subtly, just like on. To where you're not being distracting and the weird dude. And that's what that would be my go-to for that. Get myself out of this into that.
I love that. I had kind of forgotten about that, but I used to do it. I'm going to start doing it again. I used to do it before we recorded episodes, the minute or two before you logged on and we started recording, because for the exact reason, it would I kind of get ramped up before we record. And then once we get into it, it's okay. But it's that couple minutes of getting into it. It's a very helpful exercise for that. So I can imagine that being I've got a presentation to give, or my boss just said the thing that always makes me think whatever, right? And having that tool in the toolkit to be able to use in whatever that took us 30 seconds to get 2 or 3 breaths in, I think is really powerful, very useful.
It's funny. I do the exact opposite. I have Dan DeLumba slap me across the face both ways. I do smelling salts, and then I grab a live electrical wire. And I'm like, let's go. Let's record. I'm in.
That explains a lot. All right, Brendan. Hopefully that was helpful. I think it was. Next question we've got is from Kellen. I teach a nutrition through the lifespan class. My students, who are upperclassmen in high school, are passionate about health and fitness. We often listen to your podcast, and many of my students actively participate in CrossFit-style workouts. As part of our curriculum, we emphasize the importance of nutrition and physical fitness, along with making healthy decisions that can impact their lives long-term. I know that hearing from someone like you, who embodies these principles, would be incredibly impactful for them. I would be honored if you could perhaps share your thoughts on the importance of nutrition and fitness throughout the lifespan.
Ooh, okay. Wow,
I like this question because it gives a very specific audience. Obviously, this is something we talk about almost all the time everywhere.
Okay.
But 16, 17, 18-year-old, clearly they're bought in. It seems like they're doing CrossFit-style workouts. They care about nutrition. They're in this class. So what advice can we give them that perhaps Kellen's not already giving them?
All right, so let's take this to 2 different views. And we're speaking to adolescents. The first is just this, what we always talk about, but what you do now matters down the road. So take something like, have you ever been around a relative with neurodegeneration, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, or dementia? That's a devastating thing to witness in real life with somebody that you're close to, you care about. Nobody wants that. Well, you start to realize and recognize that that doesn't just happen in your 60s, 70s, and 80s. That takes decades to manifest. And it's the behaviors we do in our teenage years, 20s, 30s, and 40s that dictate our 50s, 60s, and 70s. That's the importance of living this healthy lifestyle. Now, I know it seems like you're full of energy and vitality, and you can go out and do whatever you want and be fine the next day. You might be fine the next day, but it's building. Think of it like rust building up and destroying the foundation of the infrastructure. So that's the first one, is like this really long-term view. I don't think it's you can't just stop here, but this is the beginning of it. Like this really long-term view that what you do now does matter for later on. It's not just like look good this summer, get abs, be the fastest guy on the soccer team. It's this long play towards what do you want your second half of your life to look like. You're influencing that right now. The second part is the other part, is the abs and the soccer and be the fastest guy on the soccer team. Exactly. We start this podcast every single time with chase what truly matters, the 5 factors that most influence your performance, vitality, and longevity. Vitality and longevity are what we just talked about. The other one's performance now. And you are, so from the nutrition perspective, you are a metabolic machine, meaning metabolic energy. We even call our workouts metcons, like metabolic conditioning. That's metabolism, the process of turning food into energy, food into a workout, food into the way that you play a sport. That's what that is. Like, if you give yourself the right fuel, it is, use a different F word, Not food, call it fuel. It's fuel. If you put the right stuff in, you will get better stuff out. And there's so many super high level athletes that are in their later 30s that are like, man, now I realize how important food is. This is their regret. I wish I had paid more attention to this earlier.
Mm-hmm.
That's what these students have the opportunity to do, is recognize this now in real time. The fruits, the vegetables, the clean, well-sourced protein, the healthy fats, avoiding the processed crap, making sure you're getting enough calories but not too many calories. Like that, it's so basic, yet it's so fundamental to our performance. I would throw hydration, electrolytes in there as well. You got to make sure you're taking care of the machine if you want the machine to take care of you. Second part of that is the exercise and the training. Fitter, faster, fitter, stronger. It starts with the way that you hone the machine. We live very sedentary lives now. We are not even just, I would go back even maybe 100, 150 years ago, but certainly before the Industrial Revolution. The Industrial Revolution is when factories happened. Kids sat in desks for the majority of their days. Before that, it was the Agricultural Revolution. We were farmers. We were like building fences, taming the wildlife, going and walking the fields and trying to chop down firewood. Like, that was a very, very, very active lifestyle. We need now to combat the sedentarism that is happening, which is us sitting for almost the entire day. We sleep in an elevated bed. You don't have to go through a squat position to get out of bed. Then from there, we go and sit at a table for breakfast. Then you go sit in a car or a bus to school. You sit at school. You sit at lunch. Then you go to something else. We need to, after school, we need to move. Move. And training is moving with intention. Mm-hmm. So it's with such a limited amount. This is the difference between, like, people are just like, no, take 10,000 steps. Yes, way better than zero, but it is not as good as training. And this is why we got to train, because you can get so much more out of training than you can just walking or mall walkers, right? Just kind of like, we're just going to walk around a little bit, get movement. If you train, you can not only combat where we were, you can get ahead. We actually have more physical capacity than our ancestors because we know how to do this at such a better level than they were, because they didn't train. They just lived actively. They just did the necessary things. But we, through training, can get way fitter, faster, stronger. So in the short term, it doesn't just happen on its own. We have to do the things. And I know I was a kid too. And I was like, I'm going to get abs. Like, as a 16-year-old, I'm going to look so good. I'm going to be so strong. And I'm going to be one of the best football players. And I just wished for it. I never did it. I did enough. I just did enough to justify my frustration with not getting it. I would go maybe like once, twice a week, go to the gym. I would sort of do the things. I definitely didn't eat right. It's only when I actually started doing the things that it happened. I saw the results and I was able to do the things I couldn't do before.
Yeah, everything we talk about here, and I think everything that Kellen's doing, it's better matching the ambitions with the actions that lead to satisfying those kinds of ambitions, whether it's six-pack abs, be a good football player, whatever the heck it might be. These are the actions that feed along with whatever those ambitions are. And I think I'm with you. Like, I had all the ambitions when I was this age and almost none of the actions.
That's right. Yeah. We talked about it before, but you can wish and want in one hand and crap in the other. One is actually something.
Yep.
There is nothing in the wishing and wanting hand until you take action, until you actually do something.
Take it.
I don't think that's the analogy, but whatever. That story works. The crap in one hand.
It still works. Yeah.
Kids, don't crap
poop in your hand. All right, Kellen, hope that was helpful. We got 2 more questions, but first, let's say thanks to a few sponsors. We're brought to you this time around by Sigh Health. Let's talk about optimizing your health with Sigh Health. Visit Sigh Health, SIPHOX health.com/excellence and get 20% off your at-home blood test kit and keep moving toward the healthiest version of yourself. If you've been looking for an easy and affordable way to keep track of your blood biomarkers, Sigh Health has you covered. With their revolutionary at-home blood test, you can say goodbye to clinic visits and long waits. Just a few drops of blood from the comfort of your home and you are set. Sigh Health focuses on 17 essential biomarkers, giving you a complete health overview, and they do it all while slashing the cost of blood work by over 88%. That's regular testing accessible to everyone. It's all about tracking your health improvements and staying on top of your personal goals. You can also combine your blood biometrics with data from your fitness tracker to access a dashboard full of science-backed insights and actionable recommendations. Whether it's vitamin D for mood regulation or cortisol for stress management, get the insights you need to optimize your health. Head to SciFoxHealth.com/excellence. Get 20% off your at-home blood test kit today. Take control of your health with SciFox Health. We are also brought to you by Manukora. Are you ready to add a dollop of sweetness to your health routine? Well, you can with Manukora Honey. Head over to manukora.com/excellence and get 25% off their starter kit, which includes an MGO 850 plus Manuka honey jar, 5 honey travel sticks, a wooden spoon, and a guidebook. This isn't your average boring honey. It's rich, creamy, and packed with powerful nutrients to support your immunity and gut health. Ethically produced by master beekeepers in the remote forests of New Zealand, Manukora honey is made from nectar collected from the Manuka tea tree, boasting 3 times more antioxidants and prebiotics than regular honey. And it's got this special antibacterial compound called MGO, tested in every harvest, which makes this honey not just delicious, but also incredibly beneficial for your health. I love starting my day with a teaspoon in my oatmeal. It's a little morning ritual that sets me up for the day. Start your own sweet little ritual by visiting manukora.com/excellence to claim your $25 off and start experiencing the superpowers of Manukora honey today. All right, back to our questions. This next question is from T. Oh, that's right. Just T. I think for obvious reasons, he or she didn't send their full name. Here's a question. Here at the gym I coach at, one of the coaches has asked the owners for rings and a ring attachment so that athletes and coaches can do ring muscle-ups, rope climbs, and new skills that we normally scale due to not having the equipment for certain movements in a workout. In our last meeting, the owners gave us a ring muscle-up challenge, which entails getting a new rig and ring attachment for the gym by the end of October. The coaches have to bring in 10 new members for a free consult with the owners. They don't have to sign up or bring 3 athletes in to join our group classes. If we obtain this as coaches, we get the rig/ring set up. If we don't, we won't get the new equipment for the gym. Do you think this is a right or wrong way to bring new gym equipment in to the gym for not just coaches, but for the gym as a whole? Or does this incentivize the wrong message actions for gym owners or gym coaches? You ever do this? You ever bribe your coaches with new gear?
No, but I'm not opposed to it.
Hey, tell me about it.
Yeah. I would back up a little bit. And so where does the rings fall into the programming for the average gym member? Like that's like it's not as simple of a question as he is actually asking. Because it's what's the avatar of your target market? If the people you are attracting are 38 to 48-year-olds that have 2.3 kids, drive a minivan, go to soccer practices and have a Labrador retriever, they're probably not going to be jumping up and doing ring muscle-ups. So this is not a expense that is going to benefit the gym as a whole. It's going to benefit most likely, and it's also the coaches and the coaches' friends.
Yep.
The idea is there's 6 members at the gym that would love to do more muscle-ups. What's the likelihood of getting the next person in? It's not about the people that are, when expenses are real. As a gym owner, you have to weigh and measure your costs. I've seen the P&Ls for some of these gyms. You spending an extra few $100s, which is more than that. I know what they're talking about, the support structure. It's a bolt-on to the rig if you're going to do that with a couple of those, we're talking hundreds of dollars. Maybe if they're going to get 2 of them, it might get to $1,000. That would destroy the P&L for most gyms. Most gyms are not profiting $1,000 a month. So yeah, what they're basically saying is get the members in here that will cover the cost of this. Let me work on converting them because I know that I can do that well. And then yeah, I'll reward you with this. What this is called an incentive structure, incentive program. And lots of businesses have this, lots of gyms have this, and you can incentivize coaches a whole bunch of different ways with bonuses, increased salaries. Other businesses do it with trips. You know, whoever sells the most widgets gets a trip to Aruba. This is not a strange thing at all. This is pretty standard, pretty normal. The reason it might seem weird is because the Coach T believes it's for the members. What I would want Coach T to do, that's hard to say, Coach T to do is have the conversation with the owner about more things so that there's more trust and there's more buy-in, there's more understanding. Who is our target market? Do we want to grow? How close are we to being able to grow? If we do grow, how do I benefit from that? What are we currently doing to grow? If we are thinking about replacing or getting new equipment, what does that list look like? Where would this fall in the priority list? Like, just pull back the curtain and have a conversation and bring them in. So there's not this, can we get new rings? Yes, if you do this. Oh, that's weird. Like that it screams lack of trust. So I would work to build the trust.
Got it. Yeah, lack of trust built on the lack of communications. I think that's a good diagnosis. Last question is from Alana. My husband and I are now business owners of a natural meat store on a farm that will be growing and cultivating in the small town where we grew up. Small town vibes, everyone knows each other, a big propensity for gossip. We are both believers in abundance, collaboration, helping other people out, sharing the wealth, etc. We've extended our arms to other businesses in the community and have been met with willingness to collaborate. We even were able to start a huge farmers market where all sorts of producers and vendors have come to offer their products to the community. The issue we have now is with
awesome. That's so cool.
The issue we have now is with one business owner in town who we know has been spreading hate against us, intentionally sending clients away from us, and even went so far as to verbally accost a family friend who made the honest mistake of thinking his business was ours. We get that not everyone will like you, and despite his negativity, we never talk badly about his business to our clients and have actively tried to collaborate with him. Well, what would you do in this situation? How can we remain cool and collected and let the haters be haters while still standing up for ourselves and letting him know that we don't cave to bullying?
Ooh. I've been in this situation.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So, not with natural meats and farmer's market, but with a gym. First off, this is awesome. Did they say their name?
Elena.
Elena, awesome. I love this. So, first part, keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Running your business with integrity. Collaborating, you live in a world of abundance, staying
creating
cool,
opportunities for other people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So keep that going. There are going to be, as you said, haters that operate out of fear, jealousy, and insecurity. What we don't want to do is to fuel the fire. We don't want to succumb to bullying, and we want to take a stand and let them know we don't stand for that. But the first thing we want to do is just we want to keep doing the good work. You keep doing the good work, focusing on your quality products, your collaborations, your relationships with the people you have. You know Bill Nye the Science Guy? He must have had a documentary or something years ago, and this just stuck with me. I don't remember anything from the documentary other than there was a hater basically saying, you know, he believed in evolution and it was science. And there was this wacky religious evangelist trying to make a name for himself. He was just like this thorn in Bill Nye the Science Guy's side.
That's also hard to say.
Bill Nye finally decided to debate him. And what he ended up doing there was gave this guy a platform. And because he debated him, he essentially said, you're a worthy adversary.
Mm-hmm. You're on my
level. And the guy blew up. The guy became so popular. And Bill Nye, really smart guy. Bill Nye is a fascinating guy. It was like, that was such a mistake. I never should have given this guy that much attention. So that'd be my first thing is I would go and double down on your relationships. I would go and double down on the community things. I would continue to say the good things. I would not gossip, and I would not give him anything that could be taken out of context. Like text messages, emails, say anything to somebody else that somebody can then take in turn. You just want to kind of like operate. Imagine you're operating where people are judged solely on their character. That's the only way that you win this game, is who operates with the highest level of character as you go through this challenging situation. So stay on the path, do the good things, operate with the highest level of integrity, highest level of character, highest level of collaboration, double down on all the amazing things that you've done. Stay above the gossip. If you're doing all those things and it doesn't pass and it does escalate, not like you hear another customer get accosted, that's not escalating, but something like he comes to your place of business and starts making a scene in your place of business. That would be a true escalation. If that happens, I would seek legal advice and go through the legal channels. And a lot of times, just when you show how serious you are, that will pull them back and that will get them to stop. Mm-hmm. Something like a cease and desist. Before that, I would just continue to be awesome. You guys sound so cool.
I like what you said, that imagine, I'm paraphrasing, imagine the game that you're actually playing is one, the winner is the one with the highest character. Instead of the winner is the one who gets the last word, or who wrote the nastiest Facebook comment, or whatever we might think the winner might be. No, the winner is the one who maintains the highest character for the longest. And if that's what winning is, well, Elena's already doing it to a large degree. She knows how to play that game. This other guy doesn't, so she's going to win. I just really like that reframe of like, okay, well, don't play his game because he'll win that game. Play the game that you can win because he can't win that one.
And you know what? Like, here's the other unfortunate part of this is doing things with integrity in the right way, with the highest level of character for the right reasons, is so much harder. It's so much harder. This is so poignant for me right now. I just watched the movie Coach Carter with my family yesterday. Have you seen it?
Okay. No, I don't think so.
Samuel L. Jackson, basketball coach.
Yeah, I don't think
And he tries to transform this inner city high school basketball team. And he gets, true story, by the way. It's awesome. It's a true story. Worth the watch just for like how hard it is to do things the right way. The entire school committee comes up against him. Everybody tries to get him fired for just trying to do it the right way. Another example is my role model, the person that I look up to the most, Nelson Mandela. Like, character first, do it for the right reasons, even if that means decades in jail. They allowed him to get out. They said, you can get out. If you stop doing this, you can do this. And he's like, that's not right. I'll be removed from my family, my wife, my kids for decades because this is what I believe is right. When you put it in those perspectives, because I went through something very similar to this, some guy was bad-mouthing us and saying really mean things about Heather and I. We just doubled down on what we could control. And we can't control that guy. We can control our response to it. And it lasted a while, but it did blow over. This was years and years ago. Now it's not even a part of the story. It's not even a footnote. It doesn't even make the story. It's a nothing incident.
And you didn't have to go to jail for it, so that's good too.
Well, I did some other stuff to him.
Thank you, Elena, for the question. Thank you, everybody, for the questions. Again, chasingexcellence.email. We send out an email on the weekend with the shows we put out in the week, as well as a link to a form where you can submit your own questions. We thank you in advance for doing so. We love seeing them. We love trying to do our best to answer them. Ben, thank you. Thank you everybody out there for listening. Thank you for subscribing wherever you are listening or watching this. Ben and I will be back soon for a brand new episode of Chasing Excellence.